So I had enough with ants this year. Every single year it's a bit of a struggle. And in this case, they've taken down a number of things: broccoli, kohlrabi, radishes, but I have not seen them take down potatoes. But one of the leaves looked bad, and when I looked closer, there was definitely, I'm not sure you can really see them, but they're definitely there. So this part of the plant is now dead, and now I've set up the trap to hopefully kill them. So it's a two-step. I use the liquid ant bait. You can make your own, which is just essentially some form of sugar, some water, and the killer of it, which is borax, which is like $1, and you can get a whole garbage bag from Walmart. It's very cheap. I just like it because I like the little thing that it comes in, and it's just convenient to use these sorts of things. So the ants will come from left to right, go inside of this thing that has the liquid in it. They will then eat what they think is a very sugary drink, but they're also eating the borax, which is a desiccant, and that will destroy their insides and kill them. But what they'll do also is they'll eat it and then go back to the nest, puke it up for food for everybody else, and then everybody starts eating on it. So these things tend to take out, I wouldn't say the whole nest, but a good amount of them, depending on the size of what you're working with. And it can be quite effective to at least deter them to go somewhere else. I don't want to say it fully kills everything, because you never know what's happening down below, but it definitely will cause a huge amount of ants to be attracted to this, and then they'll go away. So the white powder in between where they are and the bait is diatomaceous earth. So a lot of people use this in a garden. I don't use it as frequently, and I'm going to try this in addition to the bait and see how effective it is. So diatomaceous earth is just the fossilized remains of tiny little aquatic things called diatoms, and their skeletons are made up of silica. And fossilized silica is very sharp. You can't really tell. You can handle its powder. It's not an issue for you. It may irritate, but nothing that it will cause any sort of injury. But on the very small level, there are sharp little edges in these fossilized remains. And so when the ant goes left to right over, because it has to go that way, this thing is draining. Once it goes from left to right over the fossilized remains, those little sharp edges will cut them, and it will cut their legs, and eventually it will kill them in addition to eating these sorts of things. So it's a two-layer sort of kill, both using a desiccant, one to shred up their arms and legs, and two, once they ingest it. The difficulty with diatomaceous earth is people tend to mix it or just throw it around. So diatomaceous earth is silica based and is a desiccant, and the desiccant just means it absorbs water. You see it in, like, when you buy shoes and everything, and when it absorbs water, it is not the same thing in what you started with. So those sharp edges aren't going to be sharp anymore. So I'm putting it out when it's dry out. I'm also putting a layer amount of it because there's moisture in the soil, and if there's moisture in the soil and you have a desiccant, they will absorb, the diatomaceous earth will absorb the water out of the soil, reducing the efficacy of it, or the effectiveness of the diatomaceous earth. So when you use diatomaceous earth, use it on a day where it's dry. It's not going to rain. You're not going to have some sort of dew in the morning, because it's only really effective when it's as dry as possible. That's when you'll have the sharper edge of it, and it will be more effective. So once it rains, it will dry out again, maybe, but I tend to reuse it once. I usually use a new batch of it once water has hit it. I just don't know how effective it is after that. So if you use diatomaceous earth, use it on a dry day. I'm using it also with the liquid ant bait that will attract them, and hopefully will take out this ant bait. So for every plant that is showing ant damage, I will put a bait by it, and I will put some diatomaceous earth. Usually within 24 hours, you won't see them anymore. Whether it kills the whole nest, I'm not 100% sure, but it certainly resolves the issue in this particular area. Not to say that it won't go over here, but that will be another day for that. So it's pretty effective specifically for ants, and the agents that are used are natural. It's not much of an issue from a chemical perspective, and it's either you use this or you lose a plant, and in this case I want to use this because I don't want to lose that plant.